Let's not get into the notion of where you'd be sitting if we asked you.
You're arrogant, the schmuck is.
But well out of shouting range.
But you could email.
Would you put my question in there? Well, I don't think so.
Maybe. Have you emailed?
I mean, this is a town hall.
If you have an email.
This is an open forum for the public to ask questions, but it's not really open. But it's not open.
Based on what?
Based on the information that your staff gave us on how the audience and the questions are being selected.
The questions are being selected by people that email on Facebook and Twitter.
Well, they're not deciding what questions actually.
I appreciate again.
Tightly controlled.
I appreciate again.
Unlike his town meetings all through the campaign.
I appreciate the pre-selected question on your part.
Yes. How about that?
I think that's a very safe bet. But again, let's. How about we do this? I promise we will interrupt the AP's tradition of asking the first question. I'll let you ask me a question tomorrow as to whether you thought the questions at the town hall meeting that the president conducted at Annandale.
That's not his point. The point is the control from here. We have never had that in the White House. And we have had some.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll let you amend her question.
I'm amazed at you people who call for openness and transparency.
You haven't even heard the questions.
It doesn't matter. It's the process.
You have left open the system.
Even if there's a tough question, it's a question coming from somebody who was invited or who has screened, or the question was screened.
Chip, let's have this discussion at the conclusion of the town hall meeting. How about that?
No. We have it now.
Good for you, Helen. Go, girl.
Object to at the town hall meeting, Helen.
It isn't the
What's a pattern?
It's a pattern of controlling the press.
How so? Is there any evidence currently going on that I'm controlling the press?
No.
Poorly, I might add.
Your formal engagements are prepackaged.
How so?
Well, and controlling the public.
By calling reporters the night before to tell them they're going to be called up? That is shocking.
We've had this discussion ad nauseum, and
of course you would, because you don't have any answers.
Because I didn't know you were going to ask a question, Helen. Good.
Well, you should have.
Wait to see it. Thank you for your support. I'm going to wait for Helen.
That's good. Have you emailed your question today?
I don't have.
Can you imagine this low life? This low life. Hey, hold it a minute. Do you have any idea what you just listened to? You've listened to a revolution occurring in the White House press office, where a guy is measured and is controlled, and his mainstream is Chip Reed, is finally standing up to that snickering snot nose, way out of his league, this jerk Gibbs. I don't know where they got him from, but he's way out of control. He should be fired. And then, to top it off, Helen Thomas, who's, a far left, radical type, but even she has had enough of this snot nose, and she takes him on. There's a revolution going on in the White House press corps right now. They see it finally. And I wanted you folks who've tuned into the Savage Nation today to see that there is hope, because, frankly, the so-called press that we have is supposed to be a watchdog for the people, not a lapdog for the government. And unfortunately, as you well know, they became the latter rather than the former. And the only watchdogs left are Michael Savage and a few others in the electronic media, some in the print media as well, few and far between. But when you have a press that's no longer a watchdog for the people, what you have is a dictatorship. And Helen Thomas sees that. She said, is this guy, So that's what we're talking about, truthfully. Arizona, Frank, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Oh, Mike, as a long-time listener, the first time I finally got through without getting a busy signal, listen, my heart's pumping because you are the light of everybody's tunnel in this whole United States. You pick everything up, all of my brain that gets up into the atmosphere, and you pull it all down for me every day. You make the common sense out of everything. And
thank you, and that's very nice, and it's heartfelt. I hear it. I'm not being cynical about it, but it's a tough job every day when you think about it, Frank, because the media has gone to sleep. They're like in narcolepsy.
Oh yeah. And when I say you pull it all in, I mean, and you really do. I had the whole last year, I had put barbed wire around my radio, so when the Associated Prussians have their little news blips between your show, I don't turn it off. Because we're so frustrated. It's just like
Associated Prussians. That's a clever one. I like it. That's not a bad one. Hey, Frank, how do you take Arizona?
How do I like it?
Yeah, how do you handle it?
It's got its times where you just got to sit back and do nothing all day, but it's dry. It's a lot better than New York. I was in New York when the towers went down. I had to move out where I could just get clear and get away from all the little beady liberal eyes looking at you.
Well, I hope you have a good time out there in that fantasy land. Thanks for calling. Here's a new story to get your weekend going. And if you're faint of heart, I suggest you hold on to something very hard. Senate bill fines people refusing health coverage. That's right, my friends. Americans who refuse to buy affordable medical coverage under Obama's fascist plan could be hit with fines of more than $1,000 under a healthcare overhaul bill unveiled Thursday by key Senate fascist Democrats looking to fulfill Chairman Mao Zedong Obama's top domestic policy. Americans, if you refuse to buy a medical coverage plan under Chairman Obama's universal coverage program in order to make certain that illegal aliens are covered and all of their relatives and every other crank in America, you could be fined $1,000. Now, it gets higher. That's on an individual. If you are a family and you refuse to be covered by the government fascist health plan, you're going to pay much higher penalties than individuals. That's what your Senate just did to you. That's what's going on in the country right now. In a statement, Chairman Obama welcomed the legislation, saying, quote, "It reflects many of the principles I've laid out." Well, I'm sure it does, which is that you can control Americans from the cradle to the grave. You can control their medication. But more importantly, you and your sneaks can look into anyone's medical history with the press of a button, and you can see how to manipulate them. That's all. 1-800-449-8255. Chicago, Judy, you're up on the Savage Nation.
Well, I want to thank you for all the wisdom you give us.
You're welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, you're welcome. And what else?
Oh, well, the recipe, the cashew tomato chow mein. Now, that's a great Chinese recipe.
Where'd you find the recipe?
In your book, Healing Children Naturally.
It does have good recipes. They're all well done and well thought out. And they were done, for people who want to actually prepare food for the children that is good and healthful and not going to give them hyperactivity reactions and not going to stimulate their ADD, so-called. Yeah, these recipes are quite good. I appreciate that. I do. Who do we have now on the Savage Nation? Cesare, New York, WOR. Go ahead, please.
Thank you for taking my call, and happy early 4th of July to you. It is incredible to see Gibbs become so nervous, anxious, that nervous laughter of his,
It sounded like a schoolgirl who was asked to dance by the captain of the football team.
Like someone is like, no, it's like the kid in the back of the classroom that doesn't know the answer. That's what it sounded like. And like when he's
have you ever heard a press secretary giggle like a schoolgirl in your life?
No, I can't say that I have.
No, there's not a history of any spokesmouth for a president ever giggling like that. Never. It's never happened before.
And I hope
that's why I played it, because I couldn't believe what I was listening to. It's as though it's a movie made about the meltdown of a nation.
You're absolutely right about bad Chinese food. There's none of it anywhere. I had the worst meal in my entire...
Wait. Now you're shifting gears on me. You're faster than I am. Where? What city?
I live in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yeah, but don't tell me you can't get Italian food in Providence.
Actually, there was probably only one place that I would ever go to. Actually, there's two places. One of them got closed down because it was a real home Italian food, not like this nouveau, out for Italian food.
Yeah, right. Let's swirl wine in a glass.
Exactly. That place got closed down. There used to be an incredible, authentic Japanese place that was open for 30 years.
I knew Italian restaurants on Mulberry Street. If anyone swirled wine, they would take it in the back and give it a whipping. They brought out water glasses and a jug of wine, and if you didn't drink it, they looked at you like you were crazy. And don't complain about it, in those days. If you asked for coffee, they gave you coffee. They didn't have 16 different labels for coffee. They never heard of any such thing.
It's a lot.
Either it was coffee or espresso. They said espresso or coffee, that's all. That's all they knew. I never heard of double squeezed frappuccino from the bean, should be from 4,600 feet in the mountains of the Himalayas with the special spring water flown in from Brooklyn. I never saw anything like these people.
It's a lack of respect and responsibility.
With Yama milk, with special pregnant Yama milk they want squeezed into the coffee cup, but it should be low fat on top of that, on top of it all.
Exactly.
Could you imagine drinking low fat pregnant Yama milk? I couldn't drink that stuff. Yet in San Francisco, it's part of a frappuccino. You get in a coffee shop here, you can have a nervous breakdown till you get online, till you reach the cashier. So what else is bothering you today? You called about the giggling Robert Gibbs, the spokesmouth for Obama. You told me there's no good food where, in Providence or New York?
Providence. And
you mean Chinese?
Chinese.
Right.
Italian.
The only places that you can get decent Chinese food are in San Francisco and New York, where there are large Chinese populations. But even there, you've got to kind of know where to go and watch your step.